1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, I'm James Hake of the Hake Report. It is Thursday, August 1st, 2019. Welcome, guys. I appreciate you, and I appreciate Jesse for allowing me to continue on his stream. This is the fourth hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show stream. The Hake Report is on it, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then also on my channels, Sundays at 9 a.m. on my channels, thehakereport.com. So, I'm wearing a Men's History Month t-shirt. Cool, huh? Really nice. Really nice. And I used to have a White History Month cell phone cover. This is hard plastic cover, kind of hard plastic. Nice, nicely printed. It's on, it's a blue, like a pale, I got this one, it was a pale blue. For those of you who are listening and can't see the video, I'm holding in my hands a phone case, a White History Month phone case for my cell phone cover. And I am ditching this one because it is the end of July has passed. And I now and it says White History Month. Doesn't July just feel white? By Jesse Lee Peterson. And I showed this off at the beginning of last month, July. And now I have on my actual phone a Men's History Month phone case. Are you able to zoom in on this? And it says Men's History Month, and it says Booker T. Washington speaking, JesseLeePeterson.com. It's a little, the picture may be a little blurry right now, but that's what it says. And it's cool. And it's basically the same picture that I'm wearing on my shirt, Men's History Month t-shirt. And you can get those at teespring.com/stores/Jesse Lee Peterson. That's the JesseLeePeterson.com to find the banner ad. There's a rotating banner ad on JesseLeePeterson.com or JLPtalk.com. And you'll see one that has White History Month on it. That's the one that has the Men's History Month inside of that store. It's the Jesse Lee Peterson Teespring store. We actually have 3 Teespring stores. Jesse Lee Peterson Teespring store, the Bond Rebuilding the Man Teespring store for the nonprofit side, Bond, and it says Rebuilding the Family by Rebuilding the Man. And that's where you can get this mug. Cool, huh? Talk about salesman today, huh? BondRebuildingTheMan.com. That's the Bond Rebuilding the Man store. And then, of course, there's the cool designs on the Fallen State Teespring store, which is teespring.com/stores/shop the Fallen State. Or just remember thefallenstate.tv. You'll find the store there linked there. So, guys, I will be taking your calls. Appreciate you guys calling in already. But I wanted to explain briefly about Booker T. Washington. Why we chose Booker T. Washington for Men's History Month. Because Booker T. Washington seems to have been a man. Kind of old school. He was a former slave. And then he founded a school, the Tuskegee Institute, I believe. And he was the author of Up From Slavery. And he's also the author of Character Building. And I know about those books. I know especially about Character Building because of Jesse's used to have a Bond Leadership Academy for boys. And he had those young guys reading that book. So it was a nice little ethics class that he was teaching. So I learned about that book from Jesse's work at Bond. And Booker T. Washington was a no excuses kind of guy. I remember overhearing different lessons from when that academy was running. And at one point, I remember distinctly a story that Booker T. reportedly said, was what I overheard that he had said, that if you see a homeless man you know that something he did got him to that point. And isn't that a nice, harsh, no excuses kind of mindset? Nowadays, that's not politically correct to say. Now it's like, no fault of their own. Oh, blame the politicians, which you can blame the politicians a little bit because they certainly don't help the situation. But you also have to blame the individual. And so that's nice. And now blacks are calling Booker T. Washington and Jesse Lee Peterson Uncle Tom. They're calling their best people, just trashing their best people. Isn't that funny? And I noticed that whites are doing the same thing a little bit, too. Blacks are calling Jesse owned by whites, and then whites are calling Jesse owned by Jews, and Jesse's not owned by anybody. He speaks more freely than anyone that I've ever known or seen, including all y'all. So just FYI. And that's part of like what manhood is, and that's why I'm glad that President Trump is president. He's like a good example of a real man, and I'll get to him later because Joel put up some tweets that Trump tweeted about Don Lemon, and it is so nice to have a president who's willing to put up tweets like that. And he called out Al Sharpton the other day. I don't have that tweet, but he totally just ripped Al Sharpton. And it's stuff that's so obvious that we've all known for decades about Al Sharpton, that he's hates whites and cops, and he's a hustler and racist. If you believe in racism, you would call him a racist, but I don't really believe in that. But he's into the race thing like nobody else. And so Trump, for that reason, I think of him as a good man. But there are a lot of male victims out there. MGTOW is on the rise. That's a male victim group. Incels are a male victim group. And honestly, and these are like, I'm pointing out the conservative ones because most of us are conservatives who are watching this. A lot of alt-right are victims. A lot of the conservatives, standard conservatives, are pathetic victims too. And we got to get past that if we're going to become men and fix the country. And so we can overcome all that stuff. I'll get a little bit into more about myself and then the white men on decline, and because I'm still talking about white people, but men specifically. But let me get to some callers. Moses out of Colorado, first-time caller. Moses, how are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. How about you, James?
Fine, thank you. Nice to hear from you.
Oh, it's very nice to hear from you as well. I am a Latino, and the wall is going up no matter what.
Nice. Right on.
I want to put that out there because I am in Colorado right now. I'm from Massachusetts, and as we all know, Massachusetts is a very, very liberal state.
Yeah.
And if you oppose a Democrat in any way, shape, or form, you're totally ostracized.
Right.
And if I even said that correctly. And if you even value the Second Amendment, our flag, what our country stands for as far as values and ethics, and even the president, regardless of whoever the president is, we must respect who's in that seat because they were selected for that reason.
Yeah. Interesting, man. That's a cool outlook. How have you always been pretty conservative?
No. When I was in my younger days, I'm 24 right now. I'm still pretty young. But when I was younger, between the ages of 13 and 18, I was pretty much so-called liberal, progressive, Democrat, beta.
Were you into politics that young?
Yeah, I was actually. I wasn't a little heavy into it, but I was looking at some stuff, and I was pretty much only siding with Pocahontas and the evil Wicked Witch of the West, Maxine Waters, and all of them before they had their power today, because the people around me at that time were very, very liberal, very anti-Second Amendment, very anti the American flag, and I was only siding with them because I thought that was right. That was all around me. And then, I joined the military. I came out here. I served my time honorably. And then I got out, and now I'm a full-time college student and a full-time worker. I started opening my eyes. and I started meeting new people, and I was like, wait a minute, that life that I was living before was wrong, and I'm glad, and I'm so thankful that I woke up, and now I live my life with more peace. I have a better network as far as people who I know, and I'm more respectful, and I have earned more respect throughout my life. I have better mannerisms, and it's just, I feel like a better man than I was before.
That is a nice report, man. So you were liberal even throughout your soldier days?
No, well, in the beginning I was.
Yeah.
In the beginning. Yes, I was. And then I started waking up. I was like, wait a minute, like these especially in the people from the Upper East Coast, especially New York, where AOC is from. I'm not even going to say her whole name because
right.
I consider her to be an American embarrassment.
Yeah.
You know, and she's given the Latino community a bad name. I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Mexican. And
wow.
She's just given the Latino community a horrible name.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame that there's a lot of really brainwashed Hispanics. I grew up around a lot of them. It seemed like the ones with the single mothers were even crazier, more insane. And they just felt sorry for their single mothers and stuff like that. It was a mess.
Yes.
And they're just ridiculously radical. It's and they're pro-gay and all that stuff. And it's like shocking. And they think that that's a positive thing to do or to be. Were you aware when Massachusetts, because Massachusetts, I believe, was one of the first to adopt so-called same-sex marriage. Were you aware of that during that time?
Yes, I was. And, you know, I have people in my family who are, you know, they live that lifestyle, and I respect them. You know, but I don't co-sign with that lifestyle. No way. Never have I ever, even when I was younger and I was in that weak state of mind state as being a liberal back then, I still wouldn't co-sign with that because, you know, my father was pretty conservative when he was with me. And then my mother had my sister and I go against my father. My mother became a single mother, and she was very emotional, and she was actually trying to program me to be more emotional. And I didn't like that at all. I strayed away from that. I was more drawn to men who thought more logically and who lived by a set of codes, ethics, and principles instead of just reacting on pure emotion. Nice,
man. That's cool. I'm glad that you were able to break out of that and see what your mother was trying to do. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Happy Men's History Month.
Yes, happy Men's History Month. White History Month is over. I was celebrating every single day of that.
Nice.
You know, I think the white guys out there too. You know, I thank y'all. And the Hake report is fantastic. JLP is fantastic. Hola, mamma mia, si senor. Grab your wallet, please.
That's cool, Moses, man. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, Hake. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
God bless.
Bye. Man, Nick, first-time caller out of Miami, Florida. Nick, how are you?
Hey, Jake, James. Hey, how you doing?
Fine, man. Everybody calls me Jake. It's funny. Like, people that know me for years.
It rhymes with Hake.
I don't mind it.
Jake Hake and then James Hake.
Jake was my dad's dog's name. And when I was a kid, I put my finger in Jake's face and he hit me.
Yeah, but I've been seeing on the chat, people were saying Jake, here we go again. Just Hake is fake.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's coming from, but you're not a snake. No.
It's coming from, I don't know either. I think of it as like I'm trained to think of that as a positive thing because I used to wrestle. So I was James the Snake. And then, but I called somebody, a couple of people, a snake in the grass. And then I'm not sure if they're calling me a snake for calling them a snake. So who knows? But I don't mind it.
I wanted to speak to you. Well, I was trying to get a hold of Jesse at first, but I guess I called a little bit late. When we're talking about the whole Al Sharpton thing, it kind of triggered this reminder in my head about the Black Crusaders. There's a conspiracy theory that happened against Dave Chappelle when he was trying to renew his season for his show. Did you hear anything about that? Have you heard anything?
No, I haven't heard, at least not anything new. I remember Dave Chappelle used to be funny and edgy and attack all races and all people and, you know, make fun of everybody. and now he's more like politically correct and anti-Trump and stuff. But I haven't heard anything about him trying to renew his show.
Well, basically what happened was the conspiracy here is that there's a group of prominent black individuals, such as Al Sharpton himself, Jesse Jackson, Maxine Waters, Oprah Winfrey, you name it. Basically what they were doing was kind of like pushing against him to renew it because of how he viewed race and how he was just, joking around about everything.
Yeah.
When he was doing his KKK leader guy that was blind, and it was funny.
Yeah.
It was a really good show. It was a really funny show. It was a shame that it got to that point where he was getting death threats and being stalked.
Yeah.
And that's why he had to leave the country and go to Africa to hide and everything because of all these death threats. It's an interesting conspiracy. I don't know. I mean, it seems like it makes sense that, hold on a second, there's something off about it, that something they would do because of, power, control, money.
Yeah, they seemed to break his spirit. And I don't know what exactly happened, but didn't he turn like Muslim or something? I don't know. But yeah.
It's just a crazy thing that it just proves and reinforces how that all they're seeking is power. It's just a power trip and control, really. Control the masses and controlling people. And
yeah,
it was just so hypocritical when he was saying, when he had that not a conference, but press. It's like, everything's good here. No, it's not good. Baltimore's not doing well. And it's just a power trip.
Yeah, you're not allowed to tell the plain truth. You're not allowed to be manly enough anymore. If you step outside the bounds, oh, no, that was too manly. You got to apologize. Take it back. But thankfully, there are some people who are not taking it back, like Trump and Jesse and other people. So that's
and I really appreciate what Jesse's been doing because it's really opened my eyes. When I got called, I was telling him that I used to be a Democrat, and then I realized how misleading that party was, and because I was I'm not born that way. I was raised with that Democratic mindset.
Right.
Now as an adult, just realizing, wait a second, 1 + 1 isn't going together here.
Right. Yeah, they're
evident.
It's such false compassion that they push. And then I hate when it makes you want to throw up or spit when you see conservatives falling in line with that crap. I basically call them rhinos, but there's a whole lot of people who consider themselves conservatives, and some people don't even think of them as rhinos, but they're kissing up to that nonsense. And it's
There's
always
no more
pathetic.
gray. Now things are more black and white. Now you see, both sides for what they are and what it stands for. It's just, I don't know, back then, I guess, it has to do with social media, but now things are more out there. We see what's going on now within the world and in our country.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing that, okay, there's no more gray anymore. There's no gray zone anymore. It's just black and white of what's going on. But
yep.
I was just curious if you guys have heard about that. But it's something to look into and see about that thing that happened with Dave Chappelle.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate the tip on that, Nick. Thank you, sir.
Happy, was it
Men's History Month.
This month?
Yeah. Dave Chappelle's history. He's like he used to be like a little bit of a man, but now he's not his own. He's owned. Speaking of like going back into slavery, right? Pathetic. All right, man. Take care, Nick.
I appreciate it.
All right.
You have a good one.
All right, you as well. Bye. Frank, first-time caller out of New York. How are you, Frank?
I'm second-time caller. I called you a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay, right on. Appreciate you calling.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, my thing is this. It's not even a question.
All right.
You white people and immigrants. When I say immigrants, I mean Chinese, Japanese, Africans, Nigerians, Caribbean people.
Yeah.
All immigrants and all white people in America today should be happy to pay us black people, because I'm a black man. Both my parents descend from slaves, that lineage. But you guys should be happy to pay us black people $100 trillion in reparations. Because without, and this is why, because without us blacks being in America, there would be no America. So every white person basically would be stuck in Europe, and blacks in Africa and the Caribbean, and Asians in Asia and India. This country was built on us, black Americans, period. And you guys should be laying flowers at our feet and more than happy to pay us black people reparations. And I include Hispanics and Latinos and Puerto Ricans and Cubans and, Brazilian, all of them. All you guys should be paying us reparations, black people. You should be happy because without us, you'd be stuck in your crappy homes in Europe and Africa and Caribbean and South America. So what's the problem, America? And I'm asking you, Hake, what's the problem?
Actually, it's so funny. As you started talking, it reminded me of your last call, where you were spouting all this communist propaganda about how blacks built the country and whites are so pathetic because they had to use the blacks to build the country. And I was just thinking about how everything you're saying is like the exact reverse. Like, if anything, blacks should be paying whites to be allowed to be in America.
See, that's stupid because here's why.
That's exactly what I think of what you said.
Let me explain. This is what you're not thinking.
All right.
Because you white people went to Africa and bought us from other Africans, and you kidnapped us. So you went halfway around the world and put us in chains and cannons under gun in a ship and brought us here. How can you then say we're lucky to be here when you went and got us under guns and cannons and brought us here? That's stupid. That's stupid. We didn't know America. We were in Africa. You guys were here. And you know why? In Jamestown, right?
Hold on. Don't move on from that point. Like, remember what you're going to say, but let's go one by one. You just said that whites bought and allegedly kidnapped Africans from Africa, from other Africans, and supposedly I heard from Arabs and others. Some say that a lot of Jews were involved in the slave trade too, and somehow that makes blacks look good, and then somehow that makes the blacks. Hold on. Let me finish my response.
Okay.
That's let's bring it to reality. Reality is I wasn't involved in that, so it wasn't you when you say you, and you weren't involved in that, so it wasn't us when you say us, because reality is present day. And present day, there is no slavery in America except for the chain gangs, thank God. And, there's a bit of slavery in the sense of gangs and stuff. People can't get out of gangs. They're slaves to the gangs. And there's a lot of spiritual slavery to fear and anger. A lot of blacks like you are angry. And a lot of whites like me are afraid. So there's slavery to fear and anger and to sin. There's a whole lot of slavery to sin because sin is encouraged now. But there's no actual physical slavery anymore. So let's bring it to reality. You have a good life here and you may not appreciate it. And I have a good life here, and that's thanks to white people. So you should be thanking white people. Or you should be thanking the white ancestors at least. The white people today are pretty weak, I admit. President Trump is not weak. There's some strong white people out there. They're waking up. But there's a lot of white weakness today. And I can understand you hating white people because they're so weak. Weakness really invites hatred. If you read that book by that so-called white supremacist, Ragnar Redbeard, by that Iranian Italian guy that shot up the Gilroy Garlic Festival, he read, and it talks about social Darwinism, supposedly, survival of the fittest. And it points out a true fact about human nature, fallen state human nature, that hates weakness. So I understand you hating white people so much, but you should really wake up a little bit. Question what you've learned from this communist propaganda that you've accepted. It's really pathetic, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
Who said I hated white people?
I said you hated white people.
Oh, okay. So you know what they say about opinions, right? Everyone's got one, right? I never said I hated white people.
You do hate white people.
I'm pissed at white people.
That is hatred, man. You're pissed at white people. That means you hate them.
I'm a married man. I've been pissed at my wife.
Yeah, you hate your wife too. You hate your wife.
We still love each other.
No, you don't.
We're just pissed at each other for something, right?
No, you hate her. You don't have any love. See, this is something that I picked up from Jesse, and I think you should pick it up too, that if you have anger, if you're pissed at somebody, then that means you hate them, and you don't have any love for anybody in reality.
Oh, really? Oh, Jesus was never pissed at people, right?
Right.
Are you saying that when he cursed out the Pharisees?
That's correct.
No, hang on. Answer that question. If
Yes,
you and Jesse
I answered that question.
Stupid you guys are. Was Jesus ever pissed at people?
Nope.
At the Pharisees when
Not
he called them
not the way that you are.
And vipers, and he called the
Not the way that you are.
Satan.
He was not pissed at them at the way that you're pissed at people.
No. Okay, I'm talking about that same righteous anger. So
yeah, but but listen.
No, you just walked it back. I got you.
No, you didn't get me. I said.
No, you just said anger. Oh, if you're angry, this and that. No, Jesus was pissed plenty of times.
No,
pissed.
Listen, what you have is self-righteous anger. That's not righteous anger.
Oh, okay, the anger Jesus
it's blindness.
Had,
huh? The anger that Jesus and I have.
Jesus had. I have against white people.
Yeah,
the same anger you had against the Pharisees.
That's what that's what Satan
and the
thinks.
People like that.
Man, you're self-deceived, dude. Dude, you're self-deceived. You think that you're angry with Jesus' anger, and you're not. That's pathetic.
Okay, that's your opinion. Anyway,
no, it's not my opinion. That's a fact.
No, hang on.
Anybody here, anybody listening to you knows that what you said is so ridiculous. It's so departed from reality. You've just accepted a false.
Jesus pissed at people.
No, you've accepted a false social justice history.
You didn't refute it. But
yes, I did.
Yes,
I did. You don't even. You didn't even know Jesus. Do you? Do you sin?
Fine. That's fine.
Do you sin?
Let me get back to my original point about reparations.
Hold on. No. Do you sin? No.
You
you can get to that point. I'll let you get to that point. But answer this: do you sin?
Oh, of course I sin.
Then you don't know Jesus.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to argue that point because this call is not about Jesus.
All right.
My point is
that's for sure.
that you whites and Asians and Puerto Ricans and Cubans and Latins and Africans and whatever you're from in America, all you guys, China, you should be happy. Check this out.
Are you? Hold on. Are you descended from slaves?
No. Hey, hang on. Let me finish real quick.
Okay.
All right. 1607 to 1610, right? You white people landed in Jamestown. You guys were so bad off that you were eating your own feces.
Hey, remember. Hey, you have to say they. You have to say they because I wasn't around at that point.
Okay, white people. It was white people, right?
Yes.
White people. Just let me finish real quick.
All right.
White people in 1607 to 1610. It's called starving time. Look it up, white people and Asians and Africans and Puerto Ricans and Hispanics. Look it up. White people were eating their own feces and eating each other's dead bodies. That's why they had to get us Africans, right? Because you guys couldn't do it yourselves.
I heard it was the Indians that helped us.
That's how you had to buy kidnap victims, 650,000, and bring us here to be the foundation because you white people and Hispanics and Asians and all you guys are pathetic. You guys owe black people reparations, right? Because America was a
that just makes
That's why you got
hey.
You couldn't do it yourself.
That makes us very resourceful because we human beings need each other.
Buying kidnap victims is not resourceful.
Yes, it is.
That's pathetic.
It is. No, you're pathetic for getting kidnapped.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. That's pathetic. That's pathetic to be sold and kidnapped. Weak.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay. Let 10 guys come in your office
I gotta go, man.
They could easily kidnap you. Would that be pathetic? No, the people who kidnapped you would be pathetic.
All right, man. Hey, I gotta go. I appreciate your call. That was nice.
Yeah, white people and immigrants, you guys are pathetic. Pay us reparations. You guys are all pathetic.
Stop begging. All right, man. Rufus out of Kansas. Rufus, how are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, nice to hear from you. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the last caller was kind of out there.
Yeah.
I consider myself to have won the lottery ticket to be in this country.
Yep.
And
me too.
And you were right to say that it's pretty pathetic when you are captured. I mean, all of us come from warring clans and nations.
Yeah.
We all have had spoils of war, and the ones that are the spoils are the losers.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Right. The reason that I called was I wanted to ask you about, or get your opinion about Mario Lopez apologizing for his statements. I thought that was the weakest thing he could have done.
I did not know about that. In fact, I didn't even know. Okay, so you're saying that he spoke, well, I see in the comments that he spoke out against transgender kids. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And then Rightfully so. And then he apologized for that?
Well, he got some static from the left.
Okay.
And they
do you know roughly what he said
online or whatever?
And so did he apologize?
He did apologize.
So if all that is true,
if
all that is true, he is an example of why we need Men's History Month. Mario Lopez is supposed to be somewhat conservative, right?
Men's History Month.
Yeah, because that's pathetic. That's so. Hey, do we have a clip? Can I steal it from the Jesse Lee Peterson show?
Mario Lopez?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna steal this. Hang on, Rufus. 1-2, Joel. Let's go ahead and play this clip of Mario Lopez.
All right.
About Mario Lopez, anyway.
Look, I'm never one to tell anyone how to parent their kids, obviously, and I think if you come from a place...
Maybe you should, though, because you seem to be doing something right.
Well, thanks. And I always say if you come...
Okay.
Look, I'm never one to tell anyone how to parent their kids, obviously, and I think if you come from
Maybe
a place...
you should, though, because you seem to be doing something right.
Well, thanks. And I always say if you come from a place of love, you really can't go wrong, but at the same time, my God, if you're 3 years old and you're saying you're feeling a certain way, or you think you're a boy or a girl, whatever the case may be, I just think it's dangerous as a parent to make that determination then, okay, well, then you're going to be a boy or a girl, whatever the case may be. And it's sort of alarming, and my gosh, I just think about the repercussions later on.
Right.
That was from PragerU. So Mario Lopez went on PragerU being interviewed by Candace Owens and said a 3-year-old doesn't know what they're talking about, basically. And so he apologized for that?
Right. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yes, he did.
I think that he's been in the spotlight since he was on Saved by the Bell in the 90s, I think. Maybe even before that. And he's been trained by Hollywood, and there's a whole lot of pressure. I wonder how any of us would respond under that. Not to give him excuses, but I just wonder if we are as weak as he is on that, where under that type of pressure, because all these rhinos are buckling under pressure. They say something true, and then they apologize. I remember way back under 2008 or 2007, Rick Santorum was running for office. Maybe it was 2011 or 12. But he was running for president, right? He was like a standard, nice, conservative man, white man. And he said, I don't want blacks to be on welfare. I want them to have jobs. And that's like a fine thing to say. But then he goes back and says, I didn't say that. And he's like backtracking. And that's seeing that after, instance after instance of that madness. If Mario Lopez apologized or backtracked on that at all, it's pathetic. And just as Rick Santorum was pathetic, and so many white men and other men are so pathetic in this sense that they seem to value their career or political whatever, or not wanting to be having people mad at them, or some type of weakness is so rampant among all men, especially white men, seemingly, but everybody.
Yeah. Well, I know that I might not be as strong as I would like to be or want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
But the last thing I would ever do is apologize, because all they do is dogpile on you after that.
Right.
And you never get out from under that apology. That's just the biggest sign of weakness. It's like cutting yourself and jumping in the shark-infested water. You'll never survive.
Yeah. It is. It's like the beginning of the end. Something changes. It like kills part of your soul or something. It's so.
Hey, I just said
sad.
infested.
Yeah, racist. Man, I appreciate the tip on this, Rufus. That's sad to hear.
Yeah, nice talking to you.
All right, take care. According to Jesse's producer, Mario Lopez is in hot water with Extra, the show that he works for. So now he, according to the producer, is groveling. Shameful, man. That's why I like Trump, because he stood on the truth and doesn't back down from the truth. Before I get back to calls, let me just give a few quick examples. President Trump, he told the truth about Mexico not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, crime, they're rapists. And some, he assumes, are good people. And he told the truth on John McCain being a war hero because he was captured. That's a fact. He told the truth about Crooked Hillary, being Crooked Hillary. And he tried to actually prosecute her. But the people that work for him are beta males, and they don't want it to look like he's going after his political enemies. So there's only so much you can do, I guess, with that. He told the truth about Charlottesville. You know, the Antifa riots, when Antifa went after the alt-right and the civic nationalists, the people that don't want Robert E. Lee's statue taken down from the South, Charlottesville, Virginia. He told the truth about that. He said, when are they going to go after Thomas Jefferson? Are they going to go after George Washington? And they are. They're going after those people. And then he said there are very fine people on both sides, and there was violence on many sides. And he told the truth on that as he saw it, and he stood by it. And he was the most truthful person in the mainstream. And he was the president, and the media went after him and accused him of lying and falsely accused him of calling so-called Nazis very fine people. There were no Nazis there. There were some people who were like pro-National Socialists, and they were fighting with Antifa, but they weren't, it wasn't the way that the media misportrayed it. They scaremonger about white people, and Trump doesn't fall for it. And he told the truth about those progressive Democrat women, you know, the women, so-called women of color, saying if they're so smart, why don't they go back to their countries or their locations where they're from and fix the mess that they've left? And they don't. And he told the truth about Elijah Cummings in Baltimore. And he's told the truth to blacks. What do you have to lose? Vote for me. So that's an example of a man. He's faced pressure after pressure after pressure and not buckled. Maybe in the past he did, but since 2015, seemingly, very rarely have you seen any faltering. Some people, you can criticize on certain things, kissing up to the gays a little and stuff like that, kissing up to women. But in general, he's solid, and that's what we need. And I don't think that there's anybody who compares to him as a leader. Even Ronald Reagan. Let me get to calls, though. Amy, out of Ohio, first-time caller. How are you?
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
I can.
Nice.
So I just wanted to tell you how much we enjoy your show, you and Jesse. My friend had turned me on to Jesse by giving me a book, The Antidote, that I read.
Okay, nice.
And before then, I was kind of one of those white people feeling guilty, and even though I had no part of any of the things that have happened over the past hundreds of years.
Right.
And now I'm turned on to Candace Owens, Larry Elder. It's really been enlightening. So I just wanted to tell you, and we're going to be in LA next week. So
nice. You coming to church?
Can you hear? I can't hear you now.
I said, nice. Are you coming to church next week then?
What day would that be?
Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time.
No, we're only going to be there Monday through Saturday.
Okay. Well, if you sign up for the Men's History Month Free Speech Forum, that's Thursday evening, 7 p.m. here at Bond in Los Angeles. Well,
I think Jesse would really be, there would be a lot of things about my friend and our relationship he doesn't like. We listen to Jesse a lot because I'm a lot older than him. I'm white, he's black. So I think I think Jesse would have a field day with us.
All right, cool. Yeah, it would be nice to meet you, though.
Okay, well,
cool.
You have a great day.
All right, appreciate it. Happy Men's History Month to you.
Thank you.
Last quick question. Did you hear that call with Frank who said that you white people should be throwing flowers at our feet? Did you hear that call?
Yes, and reparations?
Yeah, $100 trillion in reparations.
Well, the thing is like I know a lot of black people that make far more money than me and have had more opportunity. Not that I've been held back, but my friend who's a black male, he's never been held back by anything because he's black.
Yeah. If anything, they get
get
preferential
treatment.
Like
black people are weak.
Right. It totally does. It's really
so crazy.
It's actually a little sad to hear a young, energetic male like that begging and thinking that he's being strong. It's really
And
delusional.
I have tickets for the Trump. Trump's here in Cincinnati today.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I did see Trump tweeted that he will be having a rally. That's tonight?
U.S. Bank Arena, yeah. So I got tickets the first day they were out there, so I'm excited.
Right on. Congratulations. Talk about...
Okay, we have a good one.
All right, that's a nice way to celebrate Men's History Month, by going to a Trump rally.
Trump, he's so great.
All
Great
right.
White Hope.
Cool, Amy. Take care.
All right, thank you.
All right. Hope to meet you next week. Let's see. Mack, first-time caller out of Alaska. Mack, how are you?
Hey, how you doing today?
Fine, man. How about you?
Excuse me?
I said fine. How about you? Yes.
Oh, it's a little cutting out a little bit.
Sorry, I mumble.
I'm pretty good. I'm sorry. I'm pretty good. I couldn't agree more with what you say about the whole Mario Lopez situation.
Yeah.
That is just like the extreme of extremes.
It's really disheartening, but I think that it can be a lesson because there's a whole lot of cowardice that human beings make excuses for themselves for doing, and sacrificing their values and kissing up.
Yeah,
and there's small things.
I agree with you.
We got to do better.
I think that if so many things that have transpired haven't been lessons to this point, it's just like the spiral continues.
True. Right on, man.
But what I wanted to call was, I think that the way you speak on black issues, I think that maybe you should be a little bit more mindful, because I think whether you are right or not, or whether you think you're right or not to say that you're not right about the stuff you say, I think you should be a little bit more mindful, because when it comes to Jesse, I think that it's a certain level of him being black and him coming from the background he comes from that he has a certain it's a certain respect with all things considered. But I think the fact that you're not black, I think that someone's not going to like it. And I think that with that being said is that someone might respond very strongly. Whether you think you're right or not, I think someone could respond very strongly because you speak strongly about it. You understand what I'm saying?
Kind of. I mean, you think I should back off of telling...
I'm not saying what I think you should do in that way. I just think you should be mindful because someone could react in a way that could...
You talking about violence? Somebody could become violent.
It could be a violent situation just because that with Jesse is different because of his background and he is black.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to get that same room to work with.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying that similar things have occurred in similar situations. I saw a case of someone getting attacked because they were taking their trash out. So to think that something similar could have happened from someone speaking strongly about something, you understand?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I mean, I kind of know where to say stuff and where not to say stuff. But like, I'm not gonna go out and like put my life at risk generally. And I know that people get mad because they can't handle, because there's this insane thinking that a white person can't tell the truth about blacks. And I know that you're not saying that, but there's this insane mindset by a lot of blacks.
Whether it is insane or not, whether I'm not saying for you to back off.
By the way, are you black or white?
I'm white.
Okay.
And I'm just saying that things, if you think it's insane stuff does happen.
I know. Yeah.
So
I appreciate the warning.
What I'm saying is that you don't have the same room to work with that he does. I'm not saying you can't say anything.
I wish this is part of Men's History Month, to be honest, because back in the good old days, all men were allowed and expected to speak out strongly against any kind of evil, and they would be just they would have some of the pickiest things that they would latch onto something over. Like Jesse's has, and we need to bring that back. And so Trump is helping to bring that back because he's going after anybody, regardless, because that's just how he is. He's not a respecter of persons or of so-called color or all that stuff. He just goes after anybody who's based on right and wrong. And that's what we need to go back to. So, I mean, it's good to be aware of the reality of the times where there's a lot of black on white violence, and sometimes it's against whites that are not necessarily going along, and there's like boycotting of sponsors and stuff like that and all that madness. But I definitely don't believe in softening just based on people's feelings. I don't think
you should soften your intent. I just think that is something you have to consider, is that somebody might not like it, and it could result in a wide variety of outcomes. So, do what you believe is best. Do what you believe is best. I just think that that's always something to consider, is how strongly you speak on an issue like that.
All right. Appreciate it, Mack.
Not your intent, but the way it's carried out.
I totally disagree with that. Take care, though, Mack.
That it could have. Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah.
That's all.
You've made your point. Okay. I definitely appreciate it, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
All right. You too. Take care.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Bob, first-time caller out of Los Angeles. Bob, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, I just basically wanted to pose, a question for you that I really do not know the answer to. Basically, I was curious, as I'm going to put the conservatives, I guess that you could say, and independent people in the crosshairs here. But I find it fascinating that all these extremely wealthy, powerful conservative voices, people like Rush Limbaugh who make $400 million contracts, and all these individuals. And yet, if you go on any sort of cable channels or whatever, every channel is run by psychosis-induced, liberals. And so you have literally one channel, which is Fox. But even TYT now has its own channel on, national, TV or whatever. So my question to you is, why is it that all these conservatives are always complaining about, the media, when they easily have the resources and the finances to literally create their own channel on national TV, like an ABC or an NBC? And so my question to you is, why have they not done that?
I don't know. I'm not really in that world. And it seems like the world is straying away from TV, which I think that TV will always be here, but it is on the decline. They've tried. They had Newsmax. They had Fox News at one point used to be pretty decent. It still has its decent moments, but there's a lot of kissing up going on, unfortunately. And then there's other things like One American News Network. I don't know about matching NBC and all that stuff. I don't know the answer to it. But but we definitely need to start, and people are starting. There is, the answer to YouTube. BitChute has risen up. It doesn't come close to it, but it's something that you pay respect to. You upload there, and we do upload onto BitChute, for example. And then there's Gab versus Twitter, or Minds maybe versus Facebook. And it's good to pay attention and cultivate those, which we need to do better at. But we are on those platforms, guys. Specifically, Jesse Lee Peterson is. And Bond and Rebuild, The Fallen State are on BitChute as well. And the Hake Report. But I think it's just a matter of starting and building and keeping at it. Because that's what those organizations did, and they got more and more corrupt.
Awesome, but just like I said, I find it funny that we're just kind of chasing our own tails here. Is the people like you that are fighting the good fight, but yet you have all these constantly conservative people. These people just oh yeah, the leftist media is hold on one second, These people are billionaires that are, right-wing voice or whatever, absolute billionaires, and they are not doing anything about it at all. They're just sitting on their money and letting us, basically, lose completely any sort of morality for the country. It's like they could easily just within literally 24 hours spark up their own channel and it would be a hit. You know what I mean? So I just find it very fascinating, that has not happened yet, that there's no sort of fight for, a new channel or some sort, even a late night talk show, it could easily be done.
There's a lot of cowards and kiss-ups, even amongst the conservative side, unfortunately. Most conservatives are not actual conservatives. All right, Bob. Appreciate it, though, man. It's a good point. All right, take care. Happy Men's History Month, by the way. Adam, first-time caller out of Washington State. Adam, how are you?
Hey, happy Men's History Month.
Thank you, man. It's nice.
Yeah, I'm all right. How about you, James?
Doing fine, thank you.
Yeah, I listen to Jesse a lot. I'm starting to listen to you a little more.
Cool, appreciate it.
Yeah, we're from the same part of town. I'm from El Monte.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Arroyo High School. 49.
You went to Arroyo High School?
Yeah.
My parents, my aunts and uncles, my siblings, and I, and my nieces and nephews all have gone to Arroyo High School.
Wow,
and that's
you went to Arroyo?
Yeah. My parents graduated there in the 60s. I graduated there in 99. All my siblings graduated 90s or early 2000s.
I thought you went to West Covina.
No, I went to Pasadena City College after Arroyo.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
We're alumni.
Yep. Arroyo Knights.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow, crazy.
Yep.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My brother graduated in 92. He's my oldest brother. And
oh, wow.
That would I don't know if I had any, and then my aunt would have graduated in maybe the early 70s, I don't know, 70s, 80s, whatever.
Wow. Was Mr. Richardson still the whatever, the president or whatever? I don't know what they call him.
There was a Keith Richardson, the black guy?
Yeah, Keith, yeah.
He was involved. Yeah, he was involved. I'm Facebook friends with him.
He was my Spanish teacher for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Spanish.
Yeah, that's right. I forget.
He has a twin brother.
It's hard to see a black guy speak Spanish so fluently.
I know. And he has a twin brother. It's amazing.
Yeah. Cool, man. Interesting.
Yeah. I was just calling because I have some paperwork. Well, I've talked to Jesse. I don't know if you've heard me talk to him before, but
I think so.
I have to be very careful because I know Jesse doesn't like me to promote my stuff, so I've tried to not do that.
Send it to us if you want to.
I'm going to send you guys.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes, send it to us if you want to.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you instead of, because I told him on the air and I don't think he liked it.
You wanted.
So, but there's a, huh?
You wanted to talk about reparations?
Yeah, if we're talking modern time reparations, the Department of Justice, I have this all, it's all printed out. I'm going to send it to you guys. There's the facts that they call the black on white crime the dirty war. That's what they termed it. It's more deaths than the Korean War. It's the violence for the last 60 years is off the charts, and I have it all printed out. I'm going to send you guys a copy.
Did you say 60?
And I just want.
Did you say Did you say 60 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking modern times facts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
So the dirty war is that's what the Department of Justice calls a black on white crime.
Okay, interesting. Appreciate that tip, man.
Thanks, James, my alumni brother.
Right on. Happy Men's History Month to you.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, take care. Joe, first-time caller, Joe out of Pennsylvania. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
I just wanted to plug some math in, if I can.
Math? Okay.
I believe that Democratic candidate Williamson, the crazy one, is that her name?
Yes.
She proposed $500 billion, yeah?
Right.
She proposed it over 10 years, so it's $50 billion per year times 10 years.
Okay.
There are 50 million black people, so you got to bear with me. 50 billion divided by 50 million is $1,000.
Uh-huh.
$1,000 divided by 12 is $83.33 per month.
Wow.
So if we were to give $500 billion in reparations to the black people, every black person would end up, number one, literally having to get a black card. This is my black card. And number two, you'd end up getting $83.33 per month for 10 years. So just wanted to inject that to the conversation.
That's interesting, man. Appreciate that math.
Sir.
White people. That's nice. Take care. I didn't realize that he hung up already. Martin, first-time caller out of California. Martin, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Yes. I have a question.
All right.
What makes a country classified as a shithole country?
What makes a country an SH hole country?
Yes.
I would say a poorly run country. And you know a poorly run country when you see it, kind of. One that's basically a mess, corrupt. Examples might be, I practically really think Mexico is one.
Wait, could you say that again, please?
I said I practically feel like Mexico is one. I believe that Mexico is one. And a lot of those countries, you know, Honduras, Guatemala, those are definitely crime-infested. Murders like crazy. The corrupt cartels are running the show. Socialist. The communists, the black communists, are turning South Africa into one. Throwing the whites in the trash and their babies. Having sex like crazy, AIDS spreading like crazy. South Africa is and was a beautiful country, but it's turning into that SH whole country. And then some of these countries like Somalia is a real mess. Somalia would be one.
Don't you think when you say this about someone's country, you're offending them?
He hung up. Did he purposely hung up? I don't think so. No, to answer your question, man, he got disconnected. My fingers are over here. I wouldn't hang up on him. But no, man, it's not. I mean, it may offend people because people are easily offended. They like to get offended over things that are true. I don't know if, yeah, they kind of like to get offended. They like it. And there's no reason not to offend somebody, to avoid offending somebody by stopping yourself from telling the truth that needs to be told. So no, man, it doesn't. Let me quickly touch on this. Let's touch on the Drudge headline, the Washington Examiner headline, and the white births stuff. White men on decline, right? Because we've talked about how far blacks have fallen. They're trashing their best. Talking about your own people, Maze. Maze trashed black conservatives for talking about their own people, and she's talking about her own people by talking about black conservatives if she thinks that blacks are her people. Idiot. I like Maze, but I respectfully call you an idiot, Maze. But anyways, Drudge says the most common age for whites is 58 years old, and for Hispanics, 11. So whites are a minority as young people, it seems like already. And out of all the births recently, white births outnumbered minority births by just under 3,000 out of a total of 4 million babies born. So whites are barely edging out all the rest of the coloreds. And it's a shame. Whites are not having enough babies. I think there's whole lot of white beta males and beta females, feminists. And then a lot of these births by the blacks and the Hispanics are out of wedlock, and an increasing number of whites out of wedlock. They're not raising proper babies, good babies, righteous babies. So it's a shame. We need to rebuild men like Jesse does. That's why I support Bond, rebuildingtheman.com. You should too. All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow for Get It Off Your Chest Friday. I will be trying to put out a church episode from 2008 on the Jesse Lee Peterson channel on I'm not doing the salute. On Jesse Lee Peterson YouTube channel. Check it out tonight, 5 p.m. And then tomorrow, the Fallen State and Church Sundays. And of course, Men's Forum tonight. Don't forget. Come on out. Or if you're males only. All right, take care, guys.